VTV News. Vietnamese New Zealand Prime Ministers outline major directions for stronger ties. And enterprises leverage FTAs to boost cashew exports. And in our world news, Oppenheimer dominates at the 2024 Oscars.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. VTV News starts right now.
Hello, it's 3 p.m. local time in Hanoi. You're watching VTV News. New Zealand Prime Minister Christopher Luxon and his spouse hosted a welcome ceremony with a traditional Maori ritual for Vietnamese Prime Minister Phie and his spouse on their official visit to New Zealand on March 11th. Both leaders expressed satisfaction with the stable and increasingly effective development of their country's strategic partnership in various aspects, including politics, diplomacy, economy, trade, security, defense, education, training, agriculture, and labor. They especially noted the frequent exchanges of the higher-ranking delegations and a 60% increase in bilateral trade from 2017 to 2022. During their talks, the leaders identified key directions for enhancing cooperation across multiple areas. They reached a consensus to stabilize and consolidate political and strategic trust, expand cooperation on all key pillars of the strategic partnership, and aim to increase two-way trade turnover to $2 billion this year and $3 billion by 2026. At the conclusions of the talks, both Prime Ministers witnessed the signing of 3 significant cooperation documents in finance, economic, trade, and education. A notable change in the revised land law is the expansion of land use rights for overseas Vietnamese. Specifically, it no longer distinguishes between Vietnamese citizens and overseas Vietnamese for land access rights. The land law now recognizes that Vietnamese living abroad as citizens with the same land-related rights as all other Vietnamese. This positive change is expected to attract foreign capital to domestic real estate market, thereby promoting economic development.
Phie is an overseas Vietnamese who has lived and worked in France for nearly 20 years. After the land law was passed, she visited Vietnam to explore investment opportunities, particularly in the restaurant and real estate industries.
Vietnamese people, whether living abroad or domestically, always want to invest transparently and have their names on the property deed. I think the revised law is very good news, and I'm looking to invest in real estate in Vietnam.
The land law, by creating a transparent and equitable legal environment, will ensure that both domestic and overseas Vietnamese have equal rights to own and transact real estate. This will help minimize disputes arising during the transfer and management of land use rights.
In the past, when overseas Vietnamese wanted to buy land, they often circumvented the law by registering a household somewhere in Vietnam. Some asked a Vietnamese citizen to purchase the land in their name, which could easily lead to disputes when the person named on the deed wanted to take over ownership.
Statistics show that among nearly 6 million Vietnamese people living and working abroad, over 20% have reached retirement age. The majority of these individuals wish to return to Vietnam for their retirement.
Most overseas Vietnamese eventually want to return to Vietnam, and we all aspire to own a house before doing so. I believe the revised land law will undoubtedly have a positive impact on the real estate market, providing a boost for Vietnamese businesses to participate in the domestic real estate market.
15 to 20% of that money goes into direct property. And that's, if you just do a quick calculation, that can be around 10,000 dwellings a year. This is a really important source of capital for Vietnam. That can be 5 to 10% of GDP, which is an enormous number.
Experts believe that the revised land laws will stimulate the real estate market and attract overseas Vietnamese intellectuals back to Vietnam. The necessary condition is to ensure that the law is comprehensive and transparent.
Free trade agreements (FTAs) have a positive impact on the export of agricultural products, including Vietnam's processed cashew nuts. As a result, companies that export cashew nuts and invest in deep processing to add value would benefit from tax reductions to 0%. The Vietnam Cashews Association anticipates that cashew consumption this year will exceed that of previous year. More to follow.
Since 2018, the company has specialized in producing a variety of flavored cashew nuts, such as salted roasted, cheese-flavored, lime-infused, Thai-style, chili garlic, and chocolate cakes. These products are exported to countries including Japan, Australia, and EU nations, taking advantage of free trade agreements, FTAs.
The value has been steadily rising since we started prioritizing deep processing. Our revenue sees an annual growth of 10 to 20%.
Meanwhile, the company has doubled the size of its factory to concentrate on deep processing. Its export orders for various flavored cashew nuts this year have nearly doubled from the previous year, targeting an estimated total revenue of approximately $10 million.
Since Vietnam signed free trade agreements with the UK, the EU, and other countries, our deeply processed products, such as roasted and flavored cashew nuts, are now tax-free. This has significantly increased our exports.
Vietnam has been the global leader in cashew exports for 16 consecutive years, contributing 80% of worldwide production. The industry aims to reach $3.8 billion in exports by 2024.
I believe Vietnam can secure $3.8 billion in export revenue because no other country can replace Vietnam's processing capacity of about 3.5 tons of cashews.
The Vietnam Cashew Association suggests that when businesses diversify their cashew products to meet the demands of different markets, they can increase international sales and add value to the cashew industry.
Recognizing market opportunities, Vietnam has classified bird nests as a special livestock product. Over the past 10 years, many policies have been implemented to promote the bird nest industries with the aim of reaching $1 billion within reach. Currently, bird nest farming is conducted in 42 provinces with over 22,000 bird nest houses, producing about 150 tons annually. In the near future, the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development plans not only to support exporting businesses, but also to provide technical training for farmers. This training will ensure traceability, food hygiene, and safety, meeting high market demands. With bird nests in 42 out of 63 provinces and favorable natural conditions, Vietnam is well positioned to develop a thriving bird nest industry. Following the successful export of the first batch of bird nests from Hưng Yên province, Avanes Vietnam shipped 2 containers of processed bird nest products to China. This event opens opportunities to increase the value of this product line in 2024.
The company took 3 years to standardize technology and meet GMP standards for their initial batch of 32,000 jars of deep-processed birds' nests. After this initial production, they aim to supply 25 to 30 million jars to the Chinese market each year.
Bird's nest is an instant food, which categorizes it as a functional food according to China's classification. This requires strict production environment controls. Thus, we've established a production system that meets GMP standards approved by the Ministry of Health.
Vietnam's bird nest farming environment surpasses those of Indonesia and Malaysia, leading to a higher quality. This year, we'll increase imports from Vietnamese companies to meet consumer demand. It's worth noting that since the Tang dynasty, Chinese people have considered swallow nests as essential products, using them for various occasions. Therefore, there are lots of opportunities for Vietnam.
Last year, birds' nest businesses experienced a 43% increase in revenue from mainstream exports. This year, an additional 15 to 20% rise is anticipated, primarily due to processed products. These trends underscore the growth of domestic birds' nest producers and the progress in Vietnam's agriculture sector as they penetrate billion-dollar markets.
Birds' nests should be seen as a domestically farmed species, which are regulated by livestock laws. They need to be raised under controlled conditions, and only when the products meet standards can we truly uphold Vietnam's bird's nest brand.
Vietnam, with its diverse range of bird's nest products, stands to gain significantly from this billion-dollar industry. 8 out of 40 registered companies are now approved to export to China. Additionally, bird's nest is listed among China's 8 rare and precious foods.
In the first 2 months of 2024, foreign direct investment FDI in Vietnam reached $4.29 billion, a significant increase over 38% compared to the same period last year. This result highlights the considerable interest foreign investors have in the country.
In the past 2 months, Central Patana, a leading Thai retail real estate company, has set up a legal entity in Vietnam. This action is seen as an expansion of investment, following the parent group's declaration to invest close to $1.5 billion in the Vietnamese retail market by 2027.
Vietnamese are among the most optimistic. Even in spite of the inflation, there is a huge optimism.
Hanoi is the leading locality, with a total registered investment capital of approximately $914 million. This is a 24-fold increase compared to the same period last year.
Certain administrative procedures, previously requiring 13 working days, have now been shortened to just 7 days. Particularly in 2023 and early 2024, licensing procedures will be completed within 24 hours upon receipt of valid documents from the investor.
In Bac Giang Province, special working groups were created by the Provincial People's Committee in response to investment intentions expressed by foreign businesses and corporations.
The establishment of working groups aims to attract major corporations, thereby fostering the development of satellite businesses and creating a network of satellite systems and products in Bac Giang.
The government has proposed and received approval from the National Assembly for various policies that positively impact growth and attract investment. These include amendments to the land law and auction law, as well as simplified export regulations. Additionally, favorable entry and visa policies have increased investor confidence in considering Vietnam as an investment destination.
Long Thanh Airport, the largest airport in Vietnam with a total investment of nearly $18 billion, is anticipated to become one of the region's international air transit centers. As a result, effective intra-regional transportation and transitioning between stations are crucial. In the first phase of airport constructions, proposals have been made to connect the airport with the railway system rather than relying solely on roads.
According to the Airports Corporation of Vietnam ACV, Long Thanh International Airport cannot construct an underground railway station due to the installation of over 1,500 foundation piles already. The plan includes 3 roads and 2 high-speed railway lines connected to Long Thanh International Airport. Furthermore, the Thủ Thiêm Long Thanh light rail will be installed along the inner port axis of the airport.
People exit the airport using the rail system. Not only should the north-south high-speed railway system be connected, but the southern provinces must also be linked.
The progress of 2 high-speed rail and light rail projects is not on track to meet the Phase 2 deadline in 2030. Given the existing overload of road infrastructure, there is an urgent need to review transport infrastructure planning.
There won't be any high-speed railway in 2030, and the old railway connection is not feasible, as it is too slow. So surely no one will choose to travel on the roads instead. But 50 million passengers will surely lead to road congestion.
It is necessary to improve railway systems to approximately 1,400 millimeters, in accordance with global standards, to ensure trains can operate more safely and quickly. We need additional green and red lights, as well as overpasses for passengers on the road. If routes are overloaded, they should be expanded.
Experts suggest that traffic connections should be carefully evaluated before planning. Therefore, in the next phase, detailed information about underground railway stations in the area is required. Additionally, the acceleration of north-south high-speed railway lines and inter-region light rail is essential. Consideration for expanding road connection access should also be made before the airport becomes operational.
Before moving on to some other news, let's take a look at foreign exchange rate for today, March the 11th. Coming up next on VTV News, Mekong Delta provinces tackle salinity intrusions challenges. And Vietnam Coast Guard ramps up efforts in combating maritime crimes. In Tiền Giang province, 28 public water taps have been installed to provide water for saline-affected areas and locations without water pipes. The plan is to install a total of 77 taps across the province to ensure no shortage of water for daily use throughout the season. In Bến Tre, salinity levels range from 2 to 5 parts per thousand across the province, making tap water salty. However, thanks to people experience in storing fresh water for dry season use, 99% of coastal households currently have sufficient water. Large irrigation projects like Bến Rớ and Tân Phú sewers are operational and can supply approximately 100,000 cubic meters of water day and night for about half a month. Although estuarine salinity has increased due to proactive preparation, there's almost no damage currently. The Mekong Delta is experiencing significant saltwater intrusions, which is damaging crops and contaminating many water treatment plants. Groundwater sources are also impacted. As a result, residents in Cà Mau are forced to pay increased prices for alternative daily use water sources. More to follow.
Rainwater reserves are depleting and salinity in rivers is increasing. For over 2 months now, Un's family has been spending approximately $24 monthly on fresh water. This financial burden might continue for a few more months.
I only dare to take quick showers, not leisurely baths. It's really tough in this area this year.
It costs more than $1 to replace a water tank. I spend about $8 on water every week.
Approximately 3,700 households in the districts of Trần Văn Thời and Thới Bình are experiencing a lack of adequate drinking water. This shortage is due to either insufficient piped water infrastructure or system overload during hot weather. Despite this, the number of households affected during the dry season has significantly decreased from over 30,000 in previous years. Currently, the province is prioritizing the provision of fresh water to the areas most in need.
In addition to water supply points, we also provide tools and transportation for delivering household water during this dry season.
The authorities in Cà Mau province are actively implementing solutions to supply fresh water to residents. With strong determination, they aim to reduce the number of households facing freshwater shortages during the year's dry season.
The Vietnam Coast Guard recently concluded its heightened efforts against crime from December 2023 to the end of February. This period typically sees a surge in smuggling activities at sea, often involving sophisticated techniques. As such, the Vietnam Coast Guard has consistently maintained 20 to 25 ships on sea patrol, deploying over 400 reconnaissance officers throughout this period. More to follow.
Maritime areas bordering countries are often the sites of complex smuggling and trade fraud activities. As a result, for the first time, the Vietnam and China Coast Guards have joined forces to conduct narrow-range patrols in the adjacent waters between Phang Cheng and Mong Khai. Similarly, in the waters bordering the southwestern sea region, public service boats are strategically positioned to monitor potential criminal activities.
The Vietnam Coast Guard has protected our town very well and educated us on drug prevention.
We are moved by the hard work and determination of the Vietnam Coast Guard and relevant forces in combating crime.
During the 3 peak months, nearly 1,500 foreign ships violated Vietnamese waters. There were 403 illegal cases involving 478 subjects, who faced penalties ranging from fines to imprisonment. Even a long-hiding wanted criminal was discovered, arrested, and brought ashore.
To catch criminals, we have focused on predicting the situation, as it helps us identify key areas to deploy forces and resources effectively.
Nearly $4 million in fines and confiscated evidence were collected during this peak period. In addition to combating illegal activities, the Coast Guard consistently supports fishermen by imparting legal knowledge and experience. This enables fishermen to contribute to the growth of the maritime economy and to the protection of the country's sovereignty over its sea and islands.
The Vietnam Classical Music Festival, featuring performances from over 100 artists, opened in Đà Lạt, the UNESCO Creative Music City in the Central Highlands province of Lâm Đồng, on March 10th. The week-long festival brings together renowned Vietnamese and international music troupes and artists. The festival began with a live concert by musicians from the Hanoi and Đà Lạt brass communities, which drew a substantial crowd. Đà Lạt was recognized as a UNESCO Creative Music City last October. Hosting the Classical Music Festival aligns with the city initiative to preserve and promote various music genes. UNESCO initiated the Creative Cities Network in 2004 to encourage collaboration among cities, prioritizing creativity as a major developmental factor. The network acknowledges 7 areas: craft and folk arts, media, films, design, gastronomy, literature, and music as creative fields. The Get On Hanoi 2024 program launched on Sunday at the Theo Creative Culture Space on Trịnh Công Sơn Walking Street in Hanoi. During the event, the official recognitions of Nhật Tân as a city-level tourist area was also announced. This event marks the beginning of a series of 50 culture and tourism activities happening in Hanoi in 2024. More to follow.
Thousands of people gathered at West Lake, Hanoi, to witness a light show featuring 300 drones displaying iconic images of Hanoi. The opening ceremony of Get On Hanoi 2024 provided attendees with a new experience through a stunning laser mapping technology light show. The event included around 50 professional actors and 150 residents.
I came here to experience the cultural values of the capital.
At present, Hanoi boasts 140 tourist attractions, 42 of which have been recognized at the city level. The recognition of this tourist area offers an opportunity to showcase typical tourism products and the beauty of the capital.
If the authorities can develop in the right direction, I believe that the capital's tourism will become more attractive.
We determined that tourism is our focus. Thus, we must manage and promote cultural activities to boost tourism.
The Get On Hanoi 2024 program is the inaugural event in a series of enticing events, festivals, and tourism promotion programs aimed at attracting tourists to Hanoi this year.
Hanoi will have various activities in each season for visitors to experience.
Hanoi has a goal of welcoming over 27 million visitors, with 5.5 million being international tourists. The projected total revenue from tourism is nearly $4.4 billion.
The 2024 MetLife Flower Festival took place over the past few weekends in Mường La District, Sơn La Province. It featured many cultural and artistic activities rooted in the local and national identity. The festival was held in Nậm Nghiệp Village, a unique location situated on a mountain range about 2,500 meters above sea level, known as the MetLife Flower Paradise. The village boasts a characteristic climate with cold winters and cool summers. As part of the festival, visitors could view MetLife flowers, enjoy art shows, participate in paragliding, compete in a community culinary competition, and display paintings and artworks. Coming up next in our World News, diplomatic personnel evacuated from Haiti. and Oppenheimer dominates at the 2024 Oscar. On Sunday, the United States and several European Union members countries evacuated their diplomatic staff from Haiti capital Port-au-Prince due to escalating gang violence. This forced thousands of people to seek safe shelter elsewhere. The humanitarian conditions in the Haitian capital are currently dire, with hospitals under attack, food shortages, and many infrastructures blocked. Earlier on March 3rd, Haiti declared a national emergency due to the escalating violence. Adjusted data reveals that Japan's avoided recession, with the economy growing in the fourth quarter of 2023. The GDP for this period increased by 0.4% compared to the same period the previous year and by 0.1% compared to the preceding quarter. Contrarily, preliminary estimate that last month indicated a recession with 2 consecutive quarters of negative growth. The updated data support the Bank of Japan's view of an economic recovery fueled by business readiness to boost investment. After the announcements of the revised data, the Japanese yen strengthened against the US dollar. At present, $1 US is equivalent to 146.7 yen. Inflation in South Korea exceeded 3% in February. In response, the South Korean government has implemented numerous measures to reduce inflation to the planned 2%. Specifically, they will invest about $45 million in March and April, a record amount, to support price reductions for agriculture, livestock, and seafood products. This will help lower the prices of staples agricultural products and fruit like apples and pears. Furthermore, the country's Agriculture and Fishery Trading Corporation plans to import popular fruits such as bananas and oranges directly to sell them at lower prices. The government will also continue to lower taxes on 3 imported fruit products: tangerines, durians, and pineapple juice. The 96th Academy's Award ceremony, hosted by the Academies of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, AMPAS, revealed this year winners at the Dolby Theater in California. As anticipated, the film Oppenheimer emerged as the most honored film at this year's ceremony. More to follow.
2023 was a triumphant year for Oppenheimer, as the film clinched 7 of its 13 Oscar nominations, including Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Supporting Actor. Cillian Murphy won his first Academy Award for his portrayal of the physicist leading the United States development of the atomic bomb during World War II in Oppenheimer. This victory capped a successful award season for the 47-year-old Irish actor, who also received a Golden Globe, a BAFTA, and a Screen Actors Guild Award for his performance. It was his first Oscar nomination.
We made a film about the man who created the atomic bomb, and for better or for worse, we're all living in Oppenheimer's world, so I would really like to dedicate this to the peacemakers everywhere.
And the Oscar goes
Contrary to its title, Poor Things concluded the night with Oscar wins for Emma Stone, production design, makeup hairstyling, and costume design. The 35-year-old actress earned her first Oscar for the 2016 musical La La Land.
It's about a team that came together to make something greater than the sum of its parts. And that is the best part about making movies, is all of us together. And I am so deeply honored to share this with every cast member.
This goes out to everyone who was affected by.
In addition to the clever and entertaining highlights, this year's Oscars ceremony transformed into a splendid showcase, eliciting frequent applause from the audience. The 96th Academy Awards concluded with both artists and film enthusiasts awash with emotion.
And now, as usual, let's continue with the weather forecast. And that's all the news for today. To rewatch our program, you can log on to VTVgo.vn or download our mobile application VTVgo. Thanks for watching and goodbye for now.